Biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when they're trying to grow and scale their business.
Oh man,
Yeah, we're all learning, we're executing,
you
but we
don't
learned a
believe
couple things.
you don't believe you can. So there's this friction, right? Like Russell was talking about that on the first day, that there's this resistance that we have into our mind. You know you're doing things that you need to do that you shouldn't be doing, or like these things that are no longer serving you, or you're omitting that you're like, if I just did this thing, it would help me that much. What would that do for your business, for your life? If you're like, I got up and worked out, what would that do for your health? If I didn't eat these things? We all have these little things inside of our mind that are like, if I just did this one thing for my business,
Got it.
then that's gonna like thing that scales you back. It's more the things that you omit than the things that you are like doing that I think keep you from
How did
growing.
you discover that, Mr. Bryan?
Oh man, the School of Hard Knocks,
Right,
going all
so
the
you were
stuff
doing this?
like failure. So like I'll tell you my current failure right now.
Okay.
This one's fresh. Like I'm still bleeding.
Yeah, that's awesome because that's what moves you to success.
Yes. So
You're closer to your success right now.
Yeah, because there's a space. We're only capable of so much like capacity as an individual, right? Like of what we can do, and we try and expand and grow our vessel, and that is a challenging and stressful process, and it's uncomfortable. But so I have an anti-aging and wellness like biohacking facility that I do, and I started to create a franchise model that we go out and be like, great, this will be awesome. Let's expand and let's take this to the rest of the country.
Let's 10x.
Let's go 10x. And so like as we started to go through the process, building it out, get the documents and registering the FTC and getting all the attorney stuff situated, I brought on an investing partner. And we had 43 locations of expressed interest and 3 people like waving checkbooks like we are ready to go, and that's a couple $100,000 like ready to exchange within weeks of me. And there was a lot of yellow flags with the partner that I had brought on. Ting, 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 all these things that I was like, I'm a people pleaser. I'm a happy guy.
Right.
I like to make people laugh and smile. That's why we're ridiculous,
Exactly.
delightfully tacky stuff.
Right.
And so I ignored these little flags. I omitted, right? Like this stuff is like, oh my gosh, like the universe is handing up and it's delivering things for me, and I wasn't paying attention, and it eventually collapsed. 12 years of work and over $100,000 for the operation because it went completely south with things that I should have seen the writing on the wall. When I look back, it's like, oh my gosh, it's super apparent. Which leveraged us out in a number of things, which has vastly crippled our organization, and so to the point where we were having this was the trajectory that we're doing. Right. The universe serves up and delivers like a hard stop to the right. Now, I am a big believer that all the things, yes, so
it happens to you or for you.
Yeah, and not just that, but it instead of happening to me like the victim, it happens for me, by me, and through me. So I am the creator of my own stuff like that, as opposed to just it's for me. It's it's by me and through me that I get able to do these things. So the universe was like, hey buddy, you weren't paying attention to all the little subtle signs I was giving you, and you omitted things that were super important and vital for your developmental growth.
Those red flags.
And it plucked it out of me, and that plucking can be difficult, drawing out, but that increased the capacity for room that I had inside of my own vessel to expand and grow into something new. And so my process now is that instead of being in the brick and mortar space, we actually have had multiple offers for buying our organization.
Got it.
So we're entertaining that right now, and we're going to transition and sell our organization and then move into the full funnels online digital capacity space, and that's our stuff happening awesome. Now. Super fresh, very scary.
No, you're capable of that and more.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what was your biggest breakthrough last year? We've been hanging out for a couple of years now, so I see you blowing up. So what's your biggest breakthrough?
I think this is it.
Got it.
Right now, the
changing to a digital first business.
Yeah. Scalability. I wasn't scalable in a brick and mortar practice. We tried to create scalability by doing the franchise offering, which was like a morphed version of the scalability, because it still required a lot of my time in exchange for capital. Right. As opposed to the scalability of taking knowledge and transferring that out to the masses, because that's infinitely scalable, as opposed to me going and teaching and training, do all these things. Not that isn't scalable in a large aspect when you get facilitators and coaches, but this would be that.
No time on you.
Yeah.
If somebody's starting today, they're unsure about what they need to do to grow and make their first million, what piece of advice would you give them, Bryan? us, whatever you're doing?
Yeah. I'd say that the first thing that you need to do is like how I approach the stuff like that. Number one, like one of my big things is utilizing breath work. I'm a big avenue of like breath work because it opens up certain portions of your mind that literally creates proteins inside of the deep part of your limbic brain that allows you to overcome and shed resistance. So it moves you more into action. Action is what it is. It's like that, the capacity and your ability, what they were just recently talking about in there, your ability is so much less than what you're physically capable of, and we inhibit ourselves by being like, oh, I don't know if I can, with these subconscious thoughts of like, I'm not good enough. Sure. What if somebody laughs at me? All these things. So I like to like prep myself, open that up so I can move myself into liberate action, so I can make that repetitive. Do it again. Be embarrassed. Allow yourself to do stupid things and make it okay for yourself. Be gentle on yourself, because there's going to be a lot of failure in the process. But if you allow that gentleness to come into yourself so you can continue to do it over and over, it's step by step by step by step. And when you turn around and look back, just like Dan Hardy says in his book, In the Gap and the Gain, you don't ever measure forward. You're always measuring into the past. Like, look how far I have come, instead of like, look at where I was expecting or I was supposed to be. If you should be somewhere else like that, and you think on those levels, you're going to should all over yourself. And if you should your pants, it's going to be difficult in order for you to be able to progress.
That's awesome. How did you discover that? The breath work.
Oh, the breath work. So I'm a holistic physician, and so like being able to influence outside of the pharmaceutical world as much as possible to activate my body. It was kind of like almost like stumbling on by accident that I kind of like came across like Wim Hof breathing and Tumo and pranayama and things like that. And now my most favorite is something called transformational breath work. It's kind of like deep holotropic breath work. But holy cow, that can really change some stuff like deep-seated trauma and everything. Wow. Do that periodically, but that'll cause like a deep release.
How can they find you? This stuff is exciting. Where can they find you?
So our handle on Instagram is cell.regen, cell.regen. That's
look at you, man.
That's our offer. I mean,
what you need is oxygen going into every single cell.
Oh man, yeah. So we do a lot of that in our center. Like we have the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, but like breath work is a way to modulate the effects that hyperbaric can give you on a clinical level that you can do on a repetitive level.
At home.
Yeah, at home and for free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey man.
Keep living it, man.
Yeah.
You're a good inspiration.